7 of the greatest bicycle races in the land. 7 world-class sporting events that test every facet of bike racing prowess. Each stop along the way will reveal a new type of champion. One swift, the next a mountain goat, the third a wily tactician. The first stop on the Tour of America was in Atlanta, a flat, hot course where the hottest thoroughbreds jostle for glory. But now the Tour travels north of Mason-Dixon, where flat gives way to the agony of hills and burning legs. Today, the Tour of America stops at the Thrift Drug Classic in Pittsburgh. For a town better known for its steel and its steelers, Pittsburgh is a beautiful city of rolling hills. But 13 climbs up the aptly named Burma Road will hardly encourage sightseeing. One of the sights worth catching is the world champion, Lance Armstrong. And Lance is backed up by his strong Motorola team. And these boys aren't known for their sense of humour. Especially as in Atlanta, Georgia, they were beaten by an Englishman, Malcolm Elliott, but he's no hillman. Pittsburgh Hills and Armstrong, an unbeatable combination in the second stop of the Tour of America. Hello again, everybody. I'm Phil Liggett, and welcome along to the second stage of our Bicycle Tour of America series. I'm joined by Davis Phinney, and this is now Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You may recall our first program came to you from Atlanta, Georgia. It was there that Malcolm Elliott was the winner and the current leader of the Tour of America. But now we're on a different course. It's 113 miles, and as you can see, the weather here is scorching hot. And the big challenge, 13 climbs up the mountain here.
Yes, that's going to make a big, big difference than what we saw in Atlanta. It is very hot. This hill is extremely hard. So you're going to see a different type of rider do well here. Not the Malcolm Elliott, more the Lance Armstrong. He's won this race the past 2 years running. He comes in with a very strong Motorola team. Phil Anderson, Steve Bauer could win today. Beyond that, you have to look at the strong climbers from some of the domestic teams. Coors Light has Mike Engelman, a past winner, Ron Kiefel. Saturn comes in with a great team, Bart Bowen, Nate Reese. Chevrolet LA Sheriffs, their man today would be Bobby Julich. And I guess if you were to pick a wild card team, the Guiltless Gourmet team has assembled a great group of riders for this hill, but it's going to be a very difficult day.
And it won't just be the weather that'll make the selection, it'll also be the hot pace as they climb up 13 times on Sycamore Avenue. After they've done that, they come onto the small circuit of 3.8 miles. What a day. And indeed, the nicest day since this event began back in 1991, and not the sort of day perhaps that Malcolm Elliott is going to like. He was the winner of the first round back in Atlanta, Georgia 3 weeks ago.
Mike Engelman, a past winner here, as we've said, he looks a little bit down today. He likes the heat, he likes the hills. I don't know if he's going to like it today. Bart Bowen has that smile on his face. Whether he can hold to the end of the day, we'll find out.
We certainly will. Lance Armstrong, a world champion now, but the winner of this race for the last 2 years, when indeed he wasn't, and he can climb. Malcolm Elliott rolling out the field of 130 riders who are now set to stay in the saddle for about 4.5 hours today in very hot sunshine.
Yeah, you're not going to see anybody taking off from the gun today. They just want to settle in and get the feel for this hill.
Well, this is the information on the course. It is a difficult one. 7.8 miles is the big circuit, covered 13 times with the climb of the Burma Trail, then down to 3 small finishing loops and making a distance of 112.8 miles. And right from the gun there has been an attack. 4 riders going clear, Davis, and 4 teams, the major teams, represented here.
Right, all the main American teams with Saturn, Motorola, Coors Light, and Chevrolet there. It's a good mix of guys. Steve Haig, Scott Fortner, Steven Swart, and Scott Moniger. Swart and Moniger were teammates with Coors Light, but these are really the advanced men. They're not going out to win the race so much as just to represent their team in the front.
And you can see the same colored jerseys now at the front of the pack here as they try to slow down any reaction from the field. This is the tempter now for the other riders to see if they'll take it up. And they've made a very early move. I suppose, really, Davis, it was to be expected, an early attack like this.
No question about it. The important thing is, if you don't feel good, to try to get out there early and get up that hill as quickly as you can.
So a super climb, and this is only the first time. The Thrift Drug Classic, this ESPN Tour of America presentation, is brought to you by Thrift Drug, the one you can trust, and by Subaru. Come in today and discover the beauty of all-wheel drive.
I use Power Bar because it gives me the energy I need to go out and win races.
For energy, the world's best athletes use Power Bar.
We spent 3 years developing a Power Bar. My husband was a serious marathon racer.
Top athletes rely on Power Bar for sustained energy, and so do lots of other people who make health and often performance a part of their life.
And welcome back to the sun-drenched Thrift Drug Classic here in Pittsburgh. This Steve Hegg, the 1984 Olympic champion, leading a breakaway group of 4 riders. Third time now up the climb. The riders have become to call it as the Burma Road. And this is the main field trying to chase them down, Davis, but the lead around about 45 seconds.
Well, you notice Scott Moniger looking back earlier, and the riders are definitely trying to press from behind. Dave Mann there shown leading with the inevitable Motorola riders filling in the gaps behind.
And in fact, look, at the gap has closed down dramatically this lap. They've pulled them right back into their sights. They made the attack very early on. They wanted to draw the sting of the other riders. They didn't dream they'd stay away. And now the Motorola team are forming at the front. Phil Anderson, the world champion Lance Armstrong. We're crossing the Liberty Bridge here, and Pittsburgh never looked nicer.
No. Jim Copeland monitoring the front for the Chevrolet LA Sheriff's team. And Roberto Gaggioli making his move up the side. He is not a climber, Phil. He wants to get up that hill ahead of the others as quickly as he possibly can.
I can't blame him for that, because it is really a very, very difficult climb indeed. We're on the downtown section of the course now before we return to the climb of Sycamore Avenue, and the pack is now regathering its thoughts here. But significantly so, Phil Anderson, the Australian, who has been a pro now for the best part of 15 years, has got the race under control, I think.
Motorola is all over this field. Phil, look at Steve Bauer. He's going up the hill for the 7th time. We're 50 miles into the race, and he has gone right by Gaggioli. And you can see the effort of this climb. He is just pushing down on those pedals to try to eke his way up this climb.
And Davis, this is the second strategy card being played by Motorola, because we've already seen Steven Swart in the early breakaway, and that's been swallowed up. Now they've got Bauer. The Thrift Drug Classic has quickly become Pittsburgh's greatest one-day sporting event, attracting crowds numbering in the hundreds of thousands. This is the first jewel of the sport's Thrift Drug Triple Crown, and it's tough.
It's a city of hills, so this is a challenge, and certainly Sycamore Hill is a trip for 13 times. I can't imagine it.
But it's worth it if you're the winner, because you're on your way to winning the $1 million that comes with the Thrift Drug Triple Crown. Last year, Lance did the impossible. After winning the Thrift Drug Classic, he bested the field at the Kmart Classic of West Virginia. And then Armstrong broke away at the Core Stage Championship in Philadelphia. The big prize of the Thrift Drug Triple Crown was his, along with a check for $1 million. Again in 1994, the Triple Crown begins in Pittsburgh, the city of steel.
We had Pittsburghers who were out all around the community. They were partying, they were having picnics, they were showing pride in their neighborhoods, and we're just very pleased to be able to bring a first-class event like this to the city of Pittsburgh.
And now we're on the climb again of Sycamore Avenue, and it looks to me, Davis, as though it's getting even steeper.
Steve Bauer is a piston bully. He is not a great climber. He's a good climber, but he really goes up like a bull. He just powers his way up that hill. You see the lighter guys, they dance on their pedals, not Steve. Even look at Lance, you know, he flows fairly freely up the hill here from behind. But it's getting it to be a long day out there, Phil.
Well, coming up towards the top here, the Subaru Traction Challenge banner, you can see ahead. There's a series of sprints for the riders throughout the day for the King of the Mountains competition here. And Bauer clearly taking maximum points on the line now. He is clear at the moment by around about a minute. This is the overall situation in the Subaru Traction Challenge at this moment. Jeff Pierce, the leader, with 41 points. Bobby Julich, the first lap winner, has 40, and Armstrong climbing at the moment to third place with 31. But there's still plenty of riders finding the legs despite the conditions today, as they now work about bringing back Steve Bauer and Davis. A lot of Motorola riders in this counter-attack.
All you have to do is stay with the riders in front, because the important thing is just letting your man sit out front.
This doesn't look right. Not right. That's not right either. I can't. Something's wrong. I can't. Oh, that's much better. Very good. Okay, let's play ball.
The Indians take on the Athletics tonight at 8 Eastern, only on ESPN.
Play ball!
And we're back on the climb again with the leading riders now in the Thrift Drug Classic here in Pittsburgh. And Steve Bauer's days are numbered now as the field begins to close in. Well, it's not completely the field. It looks like an escape group here, Davis.
Well, Jeff Pierce is leading up the pack. You know, Jeff has had a very up and down career. One of the great riders. He hasn't ridden that well until this year, as we see Lance Armstrong again coming up the hill. 15 seconds down. You saw the board.
And he's realised, Davis, that in fact this is a very strong breakaway going clear. Look at the tempo here of Armstrong now. He's recognised the strong boys have bridged the gap to Bauer, and he's going to have to go up and take care of it himself.
Look at that. He just floats up that hill. When you saw everyone else struggling, Lance just breezes across that gap.
He's a very, very big boy to climb so well as he does as we cross the Liberty Bridge there again. Let's go up to the top of the climb now. This is Armstrong in the leading group and under the Subaru Traction banner.
Yeah, I believe that, or the lead motorcycles are just ahead of him with that group containing those 9 front riders, and Lance is just coming across to them now. He's got that fast downhill to go and catch back up.
The face of Phil Anderson here as the heat and the climbs begin to take their toll. We're around about 75 miles covered now. And Armstrong trying to contact the leaders of this race. He's got teammates up there, including George Hincapie. He knows they won't be trying to outride him, but he's worried about the presence perhaps of Jeff Pierce, who seems to be on a very good day.
That's right. Although he has got the strength in numbers up there. As we see another follow group come back, Michael Carter with Guiltless Gourmet. He is a pure climber, very, very light. Light as a bird going up this hill with Mike Engelman, another strong climber, past winner. But Lance has taken that descent. He's in the tuck.
And we're on the descent down the other side of the climb now, which is the P.J. McCardle Avenue. Long, fast ride, and Armstrong has joined the leaders. So the boys in this breakaway will not be happy that they've seen the world champion now with the lead group. Meet cycling's champion with an attitude. Lone Star Texan Lance Armstrong has risen to America's best rider. Last year he won the Thrift Drug Classic in an impressive sprint. He got started in cycling because he wanted to train for the Ironman triathlon and enjoyed the cycling element the best. He started by winning the first Thrift Drug Classic back in 1992 and again last year. Last year also, he won the Thrift Drug Triple Crown and then went on to win a stage of the Tour de France. He's also the current professional world champion. He's clearly the most exciting and talented American cyclist of the day. And he's again shooting for the Triple Crown. The only thing that will stop him now, the rest of the riders in the break. And one of those riders who's missed the move so far in second position here behind Bart Bowen is Malcolm Elliott. And he struggled in the heat today, but he hasn't lost all hopes yet.
These are some of the strong favorites, Phil. Bart Bowen on the front, Mike Engelman is back there, and of course Malcolm Elliott. But the problem is it's too little too late. You've got 4 Motorola riders up front, and they're going to be driving that train as fast as they can to get away from not only these guys, but the rest of the field.
And this is how the day has unfolded so far. That early breakaway of 4 leaders wiped out. Steve Bauer then going on the attack, and his teammate Lance Armstrong holding back until he joined the leaders with 30 miles to go. And the situation now, the lone rider up the road there, is the sad shape of Steve Bauer dropping now through the field. As the riders go by, his legs have had their day.
Yeah, well, he has done a good job for his teammates because he's got the 4 riders ahead, and he was the rabbit, but he spent his energy, and he's done for the day.
And now we'll join the leading group, and Armstrong is the rider in the white jersey, and I think a Motorola rider has just attacked, and that is why they're forcing the others to counter the move. And I think it's Sean Yates who's gone.
Yeah, Sean Yates is just setting up his teammates perfectly because all they have to do is try to wear out everyone else behind. The other guys know that they better work together or they're not going to catch any one of these individual Motorola guys.
And look at this. This is Norm Alvis on the right here, one of the Motorola riders who is not in the break, taking control of the chase group, which contains Malcolm Elliott, and they're losing ground. Here's the breakaway, Sean Yates.
Yeah, well, Sean Yates is doing just what Steve Bauer did, going off the front, forcing the other riders from behind to pull that lead group back up to him. And what it does, it allows his teammates to effectively rest. It allows Lance Armstrong to stay as fresh as he possibly can till the end of the race, Phil.
And Yates, one of the great men of world cycling. This is the first time he's ridden here in Pennsylvania. And Armstrong now anxious to go and join him. He's done a perfect move. He dropped to the rear of the group and has sprung the surprise far as left he can go in the road, so the riders can't dive across and draft on his back wheel.
That's right, Phil, and this is at the very bottom of the Sycamore Street Hill. The steepest part of the course is just ahead, so psychologically, he's just put a huge dent into these guys. They were just thinking, let's get up the hill. Lance has gone out, and he's going straight up to Sean Yates, who Sean really is his lieutenant. Sean is just waiting up there for Lance to catch up so he can drive him to the finish line, because Lance is the man that they would love to see win this race.
Well, Motorola have ridden this tactically splendidly today. They've placed their men on the attack all of the time. They've wiped this field out. Remember at the start, 130 riders in the heat of the sun today. That big main field has exploded all over the hillsides here in Pittsburgh. And now Armstrong has made his effort. The legs are burning now, but he's seeing what damage he's done and will now try and get on with the climb.
Yeah, well, he's got that great capacity to just push himself right to the very edge. And Sean Yates is clearly riding so well today. It'll be a great ride for Motorola.
Very soon, they'll be together. And we'll be back.
You think America creates sports heroes for the rest of the world? Okay. How many people out there know who Valderrama is? Time's up. Well, Valderrama happens to be the premier playmaker in all of football. Oh, sorry, soccer. Despite playing in Colombia and having a head like an exploding root vegetable, Valderrama has 300 million fans worldwide. Most of whom think Jordan is a small country east of Egypt, which it is. Olé!
And we're back with the Pittsburgh Thrift Drug Classic, and this, the world champion Lance Armstrong, the winner for the last 2 years, now trying to catch up with his teammate Sean Yates. And very shortly, Davis, I think we're going to have two leaders on the same team.
Well, look at this. Darren Baker, too, has actually been able to stay relatively close to Lance. There's Sean Yates as we approach the top of the hill.
And Yates looking over his shoulder. This is amazing. Yates having the chance to go and win alone is waiting for the team captain. This is incredible.
Well, that is what Sean Yates does so well. He is the best team rider there is in the pro peloton. He knows his man, Lance Armstrong. That's his captain. He just wants to wait for him. And look at that. He's almost stopped here waiting for Lance. He's kind of going, come on, pal, let's catch up, okay? I'm waiting for you.
The rider in the picture, by the way, you can see is a lapped rider more than 7 miles behind these two champions of the world. And Sean Yates, the former British champion, now waiting for the current world champion to catch him up. And Lance Armstrong, as he comes up towards the top of Grandview Avenue here, under the Subaru Traction banner, and the two riders are going to be together.
Yeah, well, you don't know if this was actually a plan or not, but Yatesy just made that move specifically so he could help Lance out once they got over the top, because nobody goes faster down the hill than Sean Yates, and all Lance Armstrong has to do is follow that wheel. Whether Darren Baker can catch up, that's the good question.
Well, Baker, for me, is a superb rider, and this year having a great season, and look at it, he's pedaled up to them. So, one alien among the two Motorolas in Darren Baker, and now De Jonker, the team manager here, advising Lance what to do next.
Lance has got to be a little bit nervous, although not too much. Motorola knows they have got this race if they just don't screw up too much. 3 guys in front, no problem. And look at that. They're just driving. Frankie Andreu has come up behind with Darren Baker.
That's right. So there are now 3 Motorolas up here, and there is only one rider on the strange team, and that is the Saturn rider of Darren Baker.
Well, and Darren's making a little bit of a mistake here, because he should just be sitting behind these 3 Motorola riders. I mean, if he's got any card to play, it's not to do any work. Yet there he is going through the line time after time and using up his energy.
Well, there are the hands of the world champion who just loves this race here in Pittsburgh. He's won it for the last 2 years. And just look at the massive crowd, the biggest crowd we've seen here for this event. And now they are still wondering what they're going to do with the rider at the back, Darren Baker. He was third, by the way, a couple of years ago in this event when he was still a USCF amateur. Now he's back as a pro.
He came up with Lance Armstrong actually, and they were fairly competitive, but he hasn't followed the incredible ascension like Lance has. Lance is just so special in his capacity to win big bike races. And here he is calling up for more information from Noel de Jonker. A little bit nervous, I'd say, Phil.
Indeed, because this chase group is what he's worried about. Malcolm Elliott's leading the chase. Elliott's had such a yo-yo day. He's been up there, he's been dropped, he's got back, and now he's chasing, but the gap is opening, and it's over a minute now, Davis.
Right, Phil. And also, those riders behind, they're not on the same team, so they're going to be hedging their bets a little bit, not putting in all the energy they can. But look, here's Jeff Pierce and Ron Kiefel have come up, and actually they're the two riders most directly behind those four leaders. I think they were in that original group of 9 men.
Well, the Coors Light team needs a result. They're having a slim season by their own standards. They've previously been, and Davis Phinney knows this better than I do. He used to be a member of the Coors Light team. They've previously been the best team here in the United States. But listen to this vociferous crowd again. Their man, the man they've adopted here these past 3 years, Lance Armstrong, has finally clawed his way up to the leaders, and he's thanking Sean Yates for that. Yates doing the pacemaking, and the intruder, Darren Baker, hanging on in there.
Now, that's what he's so good at. As you see, Jeff Pierce and Ron Kiefel, two former teammates with 7-Eleven. These are two of the great riders in American cycling history, working very, very well together. Ron was one of my best teammates, Phil, when I rode, much in the same capacity that Sean Yates works for Lance Armstrong. Well, he's the team captain now, Ron is, of the Coors Light team. But Sean Yates is just going to drive the front of this race, and Lance Armstrong, all he has to do is take that free ride as much as he can, because it's a 3-on-1 race right now.
The odds obviously stacked in favor of a Motorola victory now. In fact, if they didn't win this race, I think the team manager would go berserk, because with 3-1, they've got to win. It's a question with which rider, because Yates has proved his strength as well as Armstrong. The Baker stays there in number 2. He must feel a little overawed. He's 26 years of age, but although he now lives in Mountain View, California, let's not forget, Davis, he comes from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he does. He's a local favorite, and he's doing a great ride, but he's actually coming from running very recently, only 4 years, so he doesn't maybe have the tactical savvy of some of these other riders. And with Ron Kiefel and Jeff Pierce here, no matter how hard they work, there's still only 2 of them against the 4 riders up front. But no question about it, look at Lance Armstrong going. That's the move of the day. They're on the small circuits right now, and Lance is going for the win.
The world champ has gone. 3 miles remain in the Pittsburgh Thrift Drug Classic. We'll be back. The Thrift Drug Classic, this ESPN Tour of America presentation, is being brought to you by Thrift Drug, the one you can trust, and by Subaru. Come in today and discover the beauty of all-wheel drive. And driving on alone now, the world champion Lance Armstrong. He's made his move. We could have predicted it, Davis.
Lance has played this race so beautifully, Phil. He really didn't say he felt very good at the start of this day, but he loves this course, as he said, and he just let his team do all the right things all day. Motorola has done the job, and Sean Yates has made another move to get back right onto Lance's wheel and probably pull him to the finish line.
You know, Davis, I've seen Sean race ever since he turned professional. He was a controversial professional back in 1980 because he had to knock out an English rider called Tony Doyle for his place in the Moscow Olympic Games. But after that, he turned professional, and my, what a great bike rider he has been. He's won the Tour of Belgium, he's had a 2nd place in the Tour of Holland, and now he just loves playing the perfect team man, and he's got his man away.
And these two are 40 seconds back. No way they're going to catch. The best Darren Baker can hope for is a 3rd place finish.
And this is the swing into the home straight now, just a couple of 100 meters to go, and I think, in fact, Armstrong will be allowed the victory here by Yates. He won't resist his teammate, because remember, this is the first of the 3 races that count towards the $1 million, and there's no doubt Armstrong is the best man equipped to take the 2nd year of the hat-trick. The victory in the Thrift Drug Classic as well for a 3rd year straight. The world champion Lance Armstrong. Look at this sprint now for 3rd place, and Darren Baker has got it. He's relived the days of his amateur days a couple of years ago. He's 3rd now as a professional for Saturn, and Frankie Andreu, 39 seconds back there, is 4th. Kiefel is in 5th slot. But a familiar winner in the world champion Lance Armstrong.
It's a special race for me, and I think certainly the nicest race in America that I can think of. So it means a lot in my heart, and it's one that I always find good motivation for.
And it could mean a lot in the wallet as well, because now he's on his way to his second Triple Crown and a possible $1 million. But what a day for Motorola. They attacked early on with Steven Swart. When he was caught, it was Steve Bauer who went clear, and then followed by Sean Yates. Yates provided the springboard for the victory by Lance Armstrong. Overall, in the Tour of America Series, after 2 races, Elliott still leads with 31 points ahead of Armstrong with 30. Yates is in third place along with Bauer. For Davis Phinney, I'm Phil Liggett. Goodbye.